Hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking this video out. I am so excited about this next session that I'm going to be sharing with you. This is a very, very special session and one I just had the absolute honor of getting to do. So I felt like I needed to give a little bit of an intro because you might listen to it and go, hang on a sec, that sounds like a really young person. And it is. I had the honor of working with a sweet young girl, just 12 years old, for a session just a few days ago. And it was absolutely incredible. So I want to give you a little bit of background story about how this came about, because I have to say, working with someone so young is not the norm. We normally work with just adults on these sessions, those who have a little bit more of an awareness and understanding of all of these different topics and things that we talk about and the healing that we do. This was a little bit of a special case. So I met Lauren's mom a few months ago. We did a session together and she had an incredible session. So sweet. I just absolutely loved her. But one of the things that she was trying to get answers about was around her daughter, Lauren. So Lauren's 12, such a sweet, just adorable girl. And Lauren has had abilities that many of us are wanting to activate, in our older years. She's had these abilities turned on since she was born. So she is able to see all of the beings, the earthbound souls, the spirits, the entities, the darker things that are in our environment, that most of us we can't see. We don't really see them. She can see them. And not only can she see them, but they talk to her. And sometimes these souls don't say the nicest things, and they tell her to hurt herself or try to encourage her to do things that are not good things. So not only does she have that ability to see what is in her environment, but she also has the ability to see the attachments on another person, which I told her, I was like, this is something that I have been asking for. This is a gift, a skill that I would love to have activated when I'm working with my clients and we're working through taking off all of these different things that get attached to us, the trapped energies, the dark energies, the entities. I would love to be able to see those things. And I think that gift will eventually develop in time, but she already has it. So the interesting thing is when her mom came to see me the first time, she said, Lauren has already told me all of these things that I have. And she was spot on. She was absolutely correct. All of the areas that Lauren had already pointed out to Sarah, that's exactly where the things were that we removed from her. So can you imagine being 12 years old and seeing all of these things in your environment, having some of them try and speak with you and communicate with you because they know you can see them, and then also being able to see this darkness within another person? It has to be overwhelming, right? And on top of that, Lauren struggles with going out into public and being around a lot of people. If you're empathic, if you have the ability to feel the energies around you, you know how quickly you can be overwhelmed by other people's energy. You can feel that energy. Sometimes you can walk into a room and exactly, there's some heavy energy going on in that room. So again, she's very, very sensitive to a lot of things, but particularly to other people's energies. And so when she goes out into public and she's around these crowds that has a lot of that heavy, chaotic energy, it affects her deeply. She sort of absorbs that like a sponge and then goes home And she's dealing with those emotions that she's sort of taken on herself. So when I talked with Sarah, there were so many things that this sweet girl, just 12 years old, has been going through in this short period of her life. And Sarah and I talked about it. And I said, I would absolutely be willing to do a session with Lauren, because we talked about she's pretty mature for her age, and she absolutely was for 12 years old, very, very mature. Um, and I said, think about it, and let's talk about it and figure out if this would be the right thing to do. So Lauren was absolutely up for it. We decided to wait until school got out because I wanted to spend some time talking with her before the session. And that's what we did last week. We had a nice long conversation, and I just spent some time talking to Lauren so that I could understand what she's been going through and experiencing, and just to help her understand a little bit more, just from my perspective, things that I've learned through these sessions and working with different guides, and trying to help her also understand the process of hypnosis and just to see how she felt about it. I gave them both the option of, we can do a surrogate session with her mom for Lauren, which those are great, but they're not quite a surrogate session's not always going to be quite as powerful if you do an individual session. It's like another option, if the person doesn't want to or can't have the session for whatever reason, a surrogate session is a great way to get a session done for someone. So I gave them the option. I wanted Lauren to feel completely comfortable, and she said, hands down, she wanted to do it. So we did this little practice exercise where I took her out to a beach. This was in our pre-session meeting, and she was able to visualize just so easily. And as a matter of fact, she had one of her guides come into that little visualization exercise. And we also connected with Archangel Michael. So I knew, I knew she wasn't going to have any trouble. So this session is absolutely incredible. And I just want to give you a little bit of an overview. The first session, I did it exactly like a normal SCHH session, which is Soul Center Healing Hypnosis by Laura Whitworth. We started out doing the body scan at the very beginning, where the client scans through the body after we run some white light and do some relaxation exercises down the body. And she was instantly able to find, I think we had 5 different places that we looked at, 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly now. But most of those were blocked energies, trapped energies, emotions that sort of get stuck. Those emotions can come from events and experiences in this lifetime. They can also come from past lifetimes. So we have a mix. She did go back into 2 lifetimes, I think, where we did some energy clearing. We did some reframing exercises to try to shift the energy of the experience of that lifetime. And then we did some healing work. So bringing in some frequencies and energies to help release that dense trapped energy. She also had an earthbound spirit attached to her. So you might be thinking, how can one so young have an attachment like that? And I'll tell you, unfortunately, we can get them from birth. Especially when we're young, we're very unprotected. We have no idea at a young age how to protect our energy, how to protect ourselves from things in our environment. And it's easy for these entities and these attachments, unfortunately, to get attached to us. So this particular soul attached to her around the age of 8. So has been with her, for a little bit. But the interesting thing is, like, sometimes when you're doing this work and you're watching it, you're listening to it, even sometimes when you're doing it, you think, is this really real? Even I find myself sometimes, I'm like, oh my gosh, just the crazy things that we're able to do in these sessions. It just sometimes it blows my mind. Her session followed the exact same structure as a session that I would do with an older client. And she's never watched a single video of mine or any other sessions. She had zero idea of what to expect going in, other than what I shared with her about the session. So for her to be able to, have the same experience as an older client, you have to know that this is not, if for anybody who has ever questioned, is hypnosis real? Is this real, or are you making it up? She's not making it up. This was exactly what she was bringing through whatever came to her, because that's all she knows. She doesn't know any different. So we do the clearing work in the beginning. And then we move into her higher self questions. And I start off connecting with Archangel Michael because he has been in her life multiple times. Like, she has seen him come into her life before. So I really wanted to connect with him while he was there, knowing that they already had a connection, and start asking her questions. So we move into her questions, and it's so beautiful to hear the same type of information that we get in an adult session come through this beautiful child. And of course, it comes through in the way that she brings it through, which is not quite so much information, but just enough to give her what she needs to help her where she is in her life right now. Michael shared information on what to do when she has these things in her environment. And he said, call me in. I'll take care of it. You don't have to worry about it. Call me in. He shared some crystals with her that she needed to take with her when she's out in crowds that will help with the energy. He gave her things that she could do to sort of shut things out when it's too much. It was incredible, just the information that came through. And just to know that this sweet girl now has some tools and resources that she can use to navigate all of this that's in her environment and these experiences that she's having. That's going to be amazing for her, because I know, just talking with a lot of the clients that I talk with, there are so many kids out there that are tuned in and tapped into these abilities. And the parents, I know, and if you're one of them, I know you probably feel overwhelmed sometimes, because who do you turn to? Who can you ask about these things? Um, you can't talk to a lot of people about them because they just don't understand. They're not having that same experience. So this is not the normal client that I work with. And I don't think it would be something that I would really open up, like, to work with kids. Because I think it takes a certain type of child, a very mature child that has a good awareness of, this type of session. This is not your regular hypnosis session. It's a quantum healing hypnosis session. So I wouldn't be opposed to working with other children. I just want to put this out there. I wouldn't be opposed to working with other children, but it would definitely be on a case-by-case basis. It would be something that I would have to meet with the child and the parent or parents first, just so that I can sort of evaluate and see if I feel like this would be beneficial. But I think the mind of a child is amazing, because it's not weighed down with all of the programming and the belief systems and all the things that we are, as we get older. So it's almost like I feel like they can connect easier. So I just wanted to put that little disclaimer out there. Again, this was my first time working with someone so young, but I really felt in my heart, I felt so guided to work with her, to help her to understand these things. And she did amazing. So if you happen to stumble across this video and you're thinking, I have a young one. I don't know that I would go much younger than Lauren's age. I really don't. I know we like to keep them a little bit older if possible. And I think that's important. But if you had a special case or just felt like, if you resonate with this session as you listen to it, and you had a child that felt like they could do this process, feel free to reach out to me and let me know, and let's just chat about it. You can email me at heather@quantumhealingwithin.com. And I'm happy to just talk with you about it and see if it's a potential, possibility for you. I hope you enjoy this session. It's just so beautiful. Please be sure and leave Lauren some beautiful comments below in case she checks. Give her some support and some love, because this little girl's been through quite a bit, but I think she has a bright, amazing future ahead of her. And I'm just so glad that I could assist her on that journey. Hope you enjoyed the session. I'll talk to you soon. Pass your awareness down the body, starting at the head. Let me know if you find anything.
It feels like there's like something kind of at like my eyes, but then also like part of my forehead, but like the lower part, like where it's closer to my eyes.
Very good. So eyes and part of the forehead. Okay, very good. Tell me what else you notice in the body.
Like my throat.
Very good. What else?
Like my shoulders.
Very good. What else stands out to you?
Like the lower kind of part of my torso. And my knees.
And your knees. Anything else that stands out to you?
No.
Okay, very good. You're doing amazing. So what I want you to do is I want you to bring your attention back up to the eyes, back up to the forehead. I want you to focus all of your attention on that sensation or that energy that you're feeling in that area. And as you focus your attention there, if you could give that energy that's there in the forehead a color, what color would that be? What comes to mind?
Green.
Very good. And that green energy that's there in the forehead, if that energy could speak with us, if it could speak with us, what would it say? And if it doesn't say anything, that's okay as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
Okay. And so that green energy, as we connect with it, if that green energy there had an emotion, what emotion would be connected to that energy?
Sadness.
Sadness. Very good. And that sadness that's there in the forehead, is that your sadness or is that someone else's sadness? Tell me what you get.
Someone else's.
And so let's do this. Let's find out where the sadness is coming from. I want to take you back in time. So just drifting and floating through time and space, drifting and floating through time and space to the very first time that that sadness was ever felt. And I want you to be there now. And as you look around in this place, tell me what you notice or what stands out to you. What do you see?
Um,
Trust your first impressions or your first thoughts.
well, first thing I saw, my dad's house.
Okay, very good. Very good. And was there anything particularly that was happening in that scene that you saw?
Um, I was across the street from the house, but I was like standing like right on the sidewalk, right next to the street.
Mm-hmm. And what was happening there? What was happening on that day?
I was just like left alone, kind of.
Mm-hmm. And as you were left alone there, how did that make you feel, sweetheart?
Like lost, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very good. And so that feeling of lost and that sadness from that experience has been placed there in the eye. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work to release and transmute that energy. So I want you to continue to see yourself there alone on that street, feeling those feelings and emotions. And we're going to use that bright white light of source that is so full of love. And I want to begin to just pour it over you in that scene. So just visualizing that part of you, seeing that bright white light just pouring over you. And as that light pours over you, it's going to begin to release all of those emotions. And I want you to begin to see that scene in a different way. If you could see that scene in a different way, one with a more positive outcome, what would that look like for you?
Um, Instead of standing by the street, I was sitting on the rocks of the house, like that's across from my dad's.
Yes. Tell me more.
I was kind of like walking on them and sitting and just kind of like waiting.
And who would be there with you to make you feel not so alone? Who do you imagine would be there?
Um, like the same. Well, there are like two different things that I see. It's one of them is the one like tall black figure that I mentioned before
Mm-hmm.
with like the realistic green eyes. And there's also a taller woman in like dress with long black hair, just kind of going around with me, like doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Let's see if we can understand a little bit more about these beings that were there, that are there with you. This tall black figure with green eyes that you've seen before. Let's allow yourself to connect with this being. You can connect mind to mind, connecting telepathically with this being. And as you do, I want you to tell me if this being has a message for you or if he says anything to you.
Just to be safe and careful.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it will seem like people don't want to hurt you, but they might.
Very good. And this woman with the long black hair, as you connect with her, What does she say?
She doesn't really say anything. It's just kind of like she's humming around, like along to a song.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel when these beings are around you? How do you feel? What does their energy make you feel?
The tall black one makes me feel like safe and like
Mhm.
comforted. But then the one with black hair, she is like, she gives me like a sense of just worry.
Okay, very good. You're doing great. So let's begin to work on releasing the sadness. And we're going to use a color of energy that's going to be a powerful color, a powerful frequency to help you begin to transmute and release this energy there in the forehead. What color should we use for that purpose?
Light pink.
Very good. So we're going to focus right there in the forehead where you feel that energy. I'm going to call forward my team of angels. We have Archangel Michael, we have Archangel Gabriel, and we have Archangel Raphael. And these three beautiful archangels are surrounding you now. And I'm going to ask them to assist me along with all of the other angels and guides that are here with us today to begin to channel in the most beautiful pink energy, this light pink, beautiful energy. And as this energy flows in right there into the eyes, it begins to transmute and release all of that sadness, of that feeling alone. Just begins to release that experience from your life, disconnecting all of that energy. Feel that energy flow in, and it's almost going to just melt away any of that deep sadness that was stored there. It's just going to almost like just flow away from the body. And I'm going to ask Archangel Michael to help us understand what we need to know about this particular scene that's come up. What does he say to you about this scene, this experience of being alone? What do you need to know?
That I can't trust everyone so quickly. I need to wait to get to know them
Mhm.
and really understand like, what they are thinking, like what they want to do before trusting them.
What happens when you trust somebody too quickly? What can happen?
They can hurt you.
And so, what is the best way for you to protect yourself, making sure that you can trust somebody first? Tell me what he says.
I'm just trying to surround myself with like better people and then waiting to fully trust people. Like I can trust them a little bit, but not put all my trust into them so fast.
Yes, very good. And so, as we focus back on that forehead, I want you to tell me how that energy feels there now. What do you notice?
It feels lighter. It still
Feels lighter?
it still feels like it's kind of there,
Okay.
but like significantly lighter.
Okay. And so let's just ask Archangel Michael or Archangel Raphael to verify, is there anything else needed for healing to remove this energy? What do they suggest that we do?
It's okay for right now. It'll just take time.
Okay. So we're going to ask the beautiful angels and guides to continue working on releasing that energy. We're going to move on to the throat. I want you to bring your attention to that throat area. And as we focus on that throat, tell me what that energy feels like, or if you get a sense of what's there in the throat.
It kind of just feels like there's like a solid kind of like a rock, just like there.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like this solid rock has a consciousness, or do you feel like it's an energy that's been placed there?
I feel like it's been placed there.
And if you were to understand what emotion is connected to this energy there in the throat, tell me what you get.
Worry and like
Yes.
anger, kind of.
Very good. And let's see if we can understand where this worry and anger came from. Is this worry and anger from this lifetime, or is it from a past lifetime?
Past.
Let's follow that worry and anger back through time and space, following that worry and anger back through time and space to the very first time that you ever experienced it, the very first time that you ever experienced that feeling of worry and anger. And I want you to be there now. And as you arrive there and look around, tell me what you see, what you notice, what you feel.
It looks kind of like I'm in like a barny kind of looking like a barn.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's someone standing in front of me.
Allow yourself to connect with this person that's standing in front of you. See if you can tell who that is. Who do you imagine that person is?
Like, I know it's a family member.
Mm-hmm. Is it a male or female?
Male.
Mm-hmm. And in this barn-like place, do you get a sense if you're male or female?
Um, Female.
How old do you feel? Do you feel young or old in this scene?
Kind of like the older end of like a teenager.
Okay. And if you were to look down at your body and notice what you're wearing on your body, describe what you see or what you sense on your body.
Like a yellow lacy kind of, or like it has like lace on like the hands
Mm-hmm.
and the bottom. And it's like yellow with floral pattern.
What kind of shoes are you wearing?
Uh, Dark brown, like combat boots kind of.
Mm-hmm. What does your hair look like?
It's like strawberry blonde and braided to the side.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Do you feel as if you're holding anything in your hands?
No, my hands are behind my back.
Very good. And so as we bring your attention back to this person standing in front of you, you said he feels like family. Do you get a sense of if this person is young or old?
He's old.
Okay. Does this feel like this could be a father, an uncle? Do you get a sense of that?
I couldn't tell before if it was like a father or an uncle because both of those kind of came through, but I think uncle was the first one that did.
Okay. You feel like You feel like it's your father? Or what did you say? I'm sorry, say that again.
I think uncle was the first one that came through.
Uncle. Okay, very good. And so, as you were there in this scene with your uncle, tell me what's happening. Tell me what's going on in this barn today.
He's like kind of like up close in my face, just yelling.
What is he yelling at you about?
I messed something up.
Mm-hmm. And as you connect even more deeply to this scene, you'll have an inner knowing of what it is that you messed up. Tell me what that is.
Like I just like grabbed the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. And he's angry with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as he's there in your face and he's being angry with you, how is that making you feel?
I'm worried.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Let's begin to reframe and heal the scene. We're going to use that bright white light again because that bright white light is so powerful. It can begin to transform any scene, any experience, because it is such a high frequency energy. This time we're going to pour it over your uncle first. So I want you to visualize your uncle receiving this healing energy. Now, as this sparkly, beautiful white light flows in, it's going to release any of that anger that he is feeling. It's almost like it's going to rewire him into a more positive and peaceful and loving person. It's going to take away all of those feelings that he was feeling. And then we're going to make the scene even brighter as this white light begins to surround everything within this barn. And it's just completely changing this whole scene into one that's positive and full of love. And as the scene begins to transform into a new scene, tell me what's happening now. Tell me how the scene changes.
My arms are now like by my side. And he is further back. And it seems more like he's okay with it, that I grabbed the wrong thing. That I just need to put it back and then go get the correct thing.
Very good. Very good. And so we're going to bring that beautiful white light all the way back from that scene. We're going to place it in the throat because when there is someone that is coming at you and it is making you feel fearful and they're very angry, sometimes we block our throat because we're afraid of speaking up. Now that we've reframed this scene and we've changed the outcome, we know that it is now safe for you to be able to speak very clearly. And so we're going to use that white light, and I want you to focus on your throat. And again, I'm going to have the beautiful angels and guides begin to flow in. And what color would you like to use in that throat?
Like a light purple, bluish kind of.
Beautiful. So bringing in that gorgeous purple and blue color, just swirling those two colors in through the throat. It's going to release any of that residual energy that you've been carrying all the way through multiple lifetimes, beginning to heal that throat. I want you to feel the energy within the throat begin to expand, and it's going to swirl. And you may even feel that energy center begin to spin as we're bringing it back into balance and alignment. How does that throat feel? Tell me what you feel there now.
It's like clear.
Very good. Very good. Let's move over to those shoulders. Bringing your attention to the shoulders. As you connect in with that energy there, as you connect in with the energy in the shoulders, tell me what sensations that you feel. How does that energy feel back there?
Kind of like I just have to like take care of everybody around me.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like you've got a lot of weight on your shoulders. Is that accurate?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you feel a lot of responsibility. Is there any other emotions as you feel into that energy? Any other emotions that you feel is there on those shoulders?
Like stress, worry again.
Yeah, very good. And so let's see if that feeling of responsibility and that stress and worry that's there in the shoulders, is that from this lifetime or is that from a past life?
Partly from this lifetime and partly from another.
Okay, very good. And so as we begin to understand where the stress and the worry and the feeling of responsibility comes from, tell me in this life what you feel like that's connected to. What makes you feel that way?
Um, like as a kid having to take care of my dad and myself while I was like over there
Yes,
and just constantly having to make sure like whatever he wanted he had and stuff like that.
yes. And so, as we're connected to these beautiful angels, I'm going to ask Archangel Michael to share a little more about what you need to know and understand about why you had this experience with your father, why he's lived it in the way that he has, that's affected you so deeply. Tell me what Michael tells you.
He's used to having people like always doing stuff for him. So he doesn't feel the need to take care of anybody else if he knows that he's going to be taken care of.
Yes, very good. And so, what does Michael want you to understand about that responsibility? Was that ever truly your responsibility to take care of him?
No, I don't have to take responsibility for other people not taking care of themselves.
No. Who is it that you need to take responsibility for?
Myself, I should worry more about what I'm doing to take care of myself than other people.
Yes, yes, very good. And so, is there anything else that Michael wants you to understand about any experiences with your father, anything else that he wants to share with you?
It's okay to like let people that I care about like work through stuff by themselves. They don't constantly need someone there for them.
Yes, he's on his own journey, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mhm. He has his own lessons that he needs to learn. Very good. So let's begin to release some of the stress and worry and feelings of responsibility because now we've had Archangel Michael tell you that it is not your responsibility and it never was. But sometimes we take on that energy because we feel like we want to help others. We're going to begin to release all that energy. What color are we going to use in those shoulders today?
Like a warm kind of yellow.
Beautiful. So all of the guides and angels are going to begin to channel in that beautiful warm yellow, almost like a golden yellow that's going to just flow in. And it's going to begin to just melt away all of that worry, all of that stress, all those feelings of responsibility, bringing in the knowing that the only person in this world that you are responsible for taking care of is yourself. That each one here is on their own journey and their own path. And sometimes they just have to figure it out themselves. And that's okay. So, feeling that beautiful warm energy just begin to expand out through the shoulders. And it's going to release that energy. That frequency of yellow is going to transmute and completely change that energy into feelings of love and joy and peace. Tell me how that feels as it flows in. What do you notice?
It kind of feels like where there's like a warm, like a weighted blanket kind of.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful. And so, do you feel any of those lower frequency energies there? Does it feel like those released?
It still feels like there's like a little bit, but it's
Okay.
not as bad.
Okay. Let's just ask Michael to verify. Is there anything else that we need to look at in the shoulders? Is there anything attached there? Is there anything else that needs to be released? Tell me what he says.
No, it's okay for right now.
Okay, wonderful. And the guides will continue to work with those energies as we move through the session, continuing the clearing. Let's bring your attention to the lower part of your torso, that energy that you were feeling there. As you connect back with that energy there in the torso, as you connect, tell me, does it feel like this is one of these emotional energies that we've been working with? Does it feel like this energy has a consciousness? Tell me what you get.
Um, First thing whenever you brought it up, immediately I heard like that I deserve to feel like pain and stuff like that.
Okay, very good. So we're dealing with the consciousness there. I'm going to ask Michael to go ahead and place the net of white light around this energy there in the lower part of the torso, just keeping this energy nice and safe in this net. And as we connect with this energy, as we connect, do you get a sense if this energy is male or female?
Female.
Mm-hmm. And this female energy, does this female energy have a name that we can call it?
Lucy.
Mm-hmm. Lucy, how old are you?
14, 15-ish.
Yes. Lucy, I want you to think back. I want you to think back to the very last time that you had a body, a physical human body. I want you to think back to that last day of your life and see if you can remember how you died, how you lost your body. What do you remember, Lucy?
It's none of your business. You don't need to know that.
I understand. I understand, Lucy. May I ask you how long it is that you've been attached to Lauren? How old was she when you attached to her?
8.
Mm-hmm. What was it that made you want to attach to her?
I wanted somebody else to feel the pain I did.
Yes.
Maybe someone could understand them.
Tell me about that pain, Lucy. What were you experiencing? What was going on in your life that was so horrible?
And just people not really being the best.
Mm-hmm. Was this family members or were this friends?
Family members.
How are they making you feel, Lucy?
that any pain that I felt was absolutely deserved, that I brought it upon myself.
Tell me what it was that happened to you at 14. Was it something that your family inflicted on you? Was it an accident? What do you remember?
It was my family.
Yes. What did they do to you, sweetheart?
They left me with someone.
And this person hurt you?
Yes.
I understand. So, Lucy, here's what I want to do, sweethearts, because I've got these beautiful team of angels here with me today. And I'm going to ask them to begin to surround you. And I want you to feel their love. We're going to begin to channel in some beautiful healing energies and frequencies. Maybe some energy that you've never felt because your family wasn't able to give that to you. But I want you just to allow yourself to feel their love. And they're going to activate that divine spark of light within you, making that energy within you even bigger, helping to release all of that pain and that sadness and any suffering that you experience at the hands of others, knowing that you didn't deserve that and that wasn't right. Lucy, as that energy begins to flow in, I'm going to ask Archangel Michael or Archangel Gabriel to speak with you now. I'm going to have them to tell you why it is that you experienced some of the things that you did in that life. Tell me what they say to you.
I didn't deserve it. It wasn't my fault. They just felt bad about other things and projected it onto me.
Yes. And so as you receive that love, Lucy, I want you to tell me how that feels.
Comforting.
Yes. Lucy, I want you to look around, and there's a bright white light of source. Tell me if you see that light.
Yes, it's tiny though.
Very good. I'm going to ask the angels to make that light so big and bright that you can see it. Just expanding that light of source out. And I want you to look into that light. Tell me if you notice if there's anybody there waiting for you today.
There's a cat.
Who is this cat?
It was one of the strays that was on my street that I would always be around.
Beautiful. And so, in this way that we are connected today, you can connect telepathically, connecting mind to mind with this cat. Let's see if it has any messages for you. What does it say?
I miss being around you. You were always so sweet to me.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Lucy, are you ready today to disconnect from Lauren's energy and go back into the light and start a new part of your journey? Tell me how that sounds to you.
It sounds great, but the change I feel like would be too much.
I understand. So I want to have Michael or Gabriel speak to you again and help you understand what you will experience once you disconnect from Lauren. Tell me what they say.
Comfort and that I'll be at peace again.
Yes. What did they tell you about what the next part of your journey will be like?
I won't have it nearly as bad as I had it in life. It'll just be easier.
Yes. And let's ask Michael if there's any reason in particular that he can share with you as to why you experience such a difficult life, anything that you need to know today.
I need to know that just because people are like family and most families are like good together doesn't mean that they always want the best for you.
Very good. And let's ask Michael how that type of lesson strengthens you as a soul. Tell me what he says.
People are sometimes there to like break you down, but in a good way, because you'll know that you can like get back up from it. You just can't let it like drown you.
Yes. Very good. So, Lucy, I'd like to ask you, as you've been there attached with Lauren for quite a while, can you tell me some of the issues that you've caused her?
Physical pain and just in general, like making worry about like meeting new people and making change like a lot harder.
Very good. Thank you for that, Lucy. Lucy, I'd love to be able to help you begin to release from Lauren today, going back into the light and back home, back to source, so that you can start the next part of your journey, one that's going to be a much better experience and one that you get to choose all on your own. Are you ready to do that today, to disconnect?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm going to have Michael place the net of light around you, and he's going to assist you in pulling your energy up and out of Lauren. I want you to begin to disconnect all of your energy from everywhere that you are connected within Lauren, pulling all of that energy out of the torso, out of the back, anywhere that you're attached to, any chakra, completely disconnecting. Lucy, I want you to tell me when all of your energy is completely out of Lauren.
Okay. It's gone.
Very good. Lauren, do you feel like it's completely disconnected there?
Yes.
Okay. So, Lucy, is there anything that you'd like to say to Lauren before you go?
Good luck. I hope it gets better.
Very good. Lauren, can you forgive this soul from being attached to you?
Yes.
Very good. I'm going to ask Archangels Uriel and Zadkiel to assist Lucy back into the light, helping her to get all of the healing energies that she needs before she goes. And we send you with so much light and love. And Lord, we want to begin to fill in that part of where she was attached with a beautiful light. What color are we going to use?
Like uh like lavender kind of color.
Beautiful. So all of the guides and angels are going to begin to channel that beautiful lavender, high frequency energy right there. We're going to fill up. I want you to feel that area being completely filled up with this lavender energy. We're going to expand that out, making sure that any residual energy left behind by the soul is being transmuted and released from the body, filling up all of those spaces. I'm going to ask Michael to disconnect and cut any cords or connections between you and Lucy. How does that How does that lower area feel now?
Better.
Okay. You still feel any heaviness or does it feel
No, it feels light.
okay? Very good. Let's check those knees now. So bring your attention down to those knees, down to that energy there. Tell me what it feels like. Do we have a consciousness in that area or do we have a trapped energy or emotion? What do you feel?
It feels how I would like imagine the one like shackles kind of would feel.
Okay, very good. Let's find out where those shackles are coming from. So we're going to drift and float through time and space, just drifting and floating through time and space back to the first time that you felt those shackles, you had those shackles placed around you. Be there now. And as you look around the scene, tell me what you see, what you notice, where you are.
I'm in the middle of a field.
Mhm. What is this field?
There are like flowers, but then it's also just like really tall grass.
Mhm.
It's also nighttime.
Did you say it was nighttime?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me what it is that you imagine you're doing in this field on this night.
I'm just like stuck here.
Mhm. Why is it that you feel stuck in this place?
I can't like get up.
Do you feel like you're sitting down on the ground or are you standing?
I'm laying down.
Okay. And so let's focus in on just a moment on your body. Do you feel male or female in this scene?
Male.
Mhm. Do you get a sense of how old you are?
Like 10ish.
Mhm. Very good. And so you're laying here in this field, and do you feel like you're being held down by something?
Yes.
Allow yourself to connect fully with your body, connecting with your body, and see if you can sense or know what it is that's holding you down.
It's like bricks.
Mhm. And where on the body are these bricks?
There are two on my legs, and then there's one like on my torso.
Would you say these are large bricks, small bricks? How would you describe them?
They're like big and long.
Mhm. And so it's enough weight to keep you completely held down on the ground.
Yes.
Mhm. And who do you imagine placed those bricks on you?
I did.
Why is it that you placed those bricks there?
Nobody wanted me there anyway, so
Mhm.
it's okay just to lay here and not move.
And so let's just go to the very last scene of that life, just knowing that you're simply observing whatever is happening and it's not going to affect you. You won't feel any sensations physically. Tell me how it is that that life ended for you. Was it there in that field with those bricks?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And so I want you to allow your soul to just come up and out of the body, just coming up and out of the body very gently, disconnecting from that body. And as we look back over that lifetime, I'm going to ask Michael or Gabriel to help you to understand what it is that you need to know about that lifetime and that experience. Tell me what they say.
And they did need you. They you did enough, like so much for them. They were just mad at somebody else. And they accidentally let it out on you.
Very good. And was there any importance to that lifetime? Anything that you came to learn or to experience? What did the angels say?
Sometimes people don't fully mean what they say. It's just in the moment. Might say something wrong, but then regret it later.
Yes. And so when someone says something to us in the moment, and we sometimes can take that in the wrong way, what do the angels say about how we can work with that so that we don't take things so much to heart? What do they tell you?
Just stay long enough to see if they apologize.
Very good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to toss those bricks away. We're going to toss those bricks away. I just want you to imagine yourself back there, that little 10-year-old body, but all of a sudden that body has become very, very strong. You've got muscles coming out of places you didn't even know you had muscles. And you're just going to take those bricks that are on your leg. You're going to kick your legs up in the air and you're going to toss those bricks right off. And you're going to take your arms and you're going to pick up those bricks, that brick on your torso, and we're just going to throw that almost like it's a toy ball, just tossing it away. And in place of that, we're going to use that beautiful white light of source once again, bringing it into all of those areas of the body, flowing it in where the brick was on your torso and those bricks were on the legs. And we're just going to heal any damage that was done to that body. And I want you to see yourself standing back up, almost with the realization of what the angels just gave you, that this wasn't even about you in that life, that your family was suffering with their own thoughts and emotions and issues. And unfortunately, they had just taken some of that out on you. But you didn't need to take any of that in. It was not yours, it was theirs. And so we're going to bring that energy back into this life, into this body of Lauren. And we're going to flow all of that beautiful white light right into those legs and into those knees. And any shackles or bricks or anything that's weighing you down, it's just going to melt away and dissolve because we no longer need to hold on to that energy. Tell me how that feels or what you notice.
Later, just there's not as much pressure. I can move without hurting.
Very good. Very good. And so let's do one more scan of the body. I'm going to ask Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael to do one more scan of the body. And is there any other areas of the body where there's anything blocked or trapped or any additional consciousness that we need to address today?
No.
Very good. Going to ask the guides to continue through the duration of the session, just to continue that cleanup process, making sure the energy is flowing through. And I want to ask Michael, while he's here, to verify these beings that we were talking about at the beginning of the session. The tall black figure with the green eyes. I'm going to ask Michael directly, is this being one of her guides, or is this another type of being that has been hanging around her?
A guide.
Okay. And how is this guide connected with her?
A past.
Okay. And the woman with the long black hair, was this an earthbound spirit, or was this another
Yes.
time? Okay. So just around her.
Mhm.
All right. And so, Michael, can you help us to understand? She's been experiencing the ability to see these entities and these things around her. Can you share with her today more about those gifts and abilities? What does she need to understand? Why can she see so much in her environment?
Most people like got rid of it whenever they were younger
Mm-hmm.
because they would like tell people about it, but you kept quiet, so you can still see it all because there was no one telling you that it wasn't real or it's just imaginary.
Very good. And so she's able to see all of these different things that are around her. And sometimes these entities are communicating with her and they're telling her to do things that, are bad. What can you share with her about why that's happening?
It's kind of one of the bad things about being able to see and hear them, but whenever they are like that, just send them my way. I'll take care of them.
Beautiful. And tell her exactly what she needs to do to send them your way.
And just call me in and then tell me like the issue and I will take care of it from there.
Wonderful. And so, anything else that she needs to know to be able to clear her space other than calling you in? Or is that the best way?
For right now, that's the best way.
Okay, perfect. And so I'm going to ask Michael while we're in this session, can you do a clearing of her home? Can you check to see if there's any open portals or anything within the home that we need to address that's letting any of these entities or energies in? Tell me what you find.
There's like a opening in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. How did that opening get there?
Um, Anger.
Okay. Can we close that opening off today?
Yes.
Okay. And is there anywhere else in the house where there's any openings or even outside of the house that we need to be aware of?
No.
Okay, very good. And so, can we ask the angels to clear the entire house of any entities or energies that are there? Would that be appropriate today?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Very good. And so, is there anything coming in through any of the devices, the computers, anything that she needs to be aware of?
For some of the people in the house, yes, but For her, no.
Okay, very good. And can we ask Michael to place white light around all of the devices and the screens in the home? Can you do that today?
Yes.
Okay. Would this be something that she should do and Sarah should do on a regular basis to ask Michael to continue to um, protect those devices? Would that be helpful?
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. And she wanted to know if there's anything in her room or in the house that is evil.
Um, it's most of it is just like tiny little things
Okay.
that were given to them by like their dad, or that they had at their dad's house and brought over here. But most of it's okay. It's just very like little trinkets and stuff like that.
Okay. So these things that come from her dad's house, because that's one of her questions. Um, does she have things in her room from her dad that are dark or negative, that have that type of energy attached?
Yes, but you can tell like which items it is.
Okay. Should she just trust her intuition and get rid of those things as she
Yes.
feels? Okay, perfect. All right, very good. And so, has there been any spells or dark magic placed on her or her mom?
Not her, but her mother, yes.
Okay. And does she have that dark magic on her right now?
Not right now,
Okay.
but it was before.
Okay. Is that anything that we cleared off in Sarah's session?
No, but
Okay.
it is currently causing her like a couple health like related problems.
Tell me what's going on with her. What health problems, if you can share those with us today?
Like recently there was a situation where she passed out. That was one of the things. And also like allergies to stuff. That too.
Okay. And so is this something that he's actively sending towards her? What is it that's creating these issues for Sarah?
He just kind of will kind of think about it from time to time, and it ends up like manifesting in a way.
So I'm going to ask the guides if they wouldn't mind, and if Sarah's higher self will allow, to do a clearing on her, any residual magic or spells or anything placed on her. What does Sarah need to know to protect herself from this energy that might be directed at her?
Just try doing more like protection things, and that will help. But that's right now what you could do,
Okay.
or just calling in like Archangel Michael and stuff like that.
Okay. So she can just call in Archangel Michael to do a clearing of her energy and remove all of that for her.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Very good. And if there's anything, like I said, that can be cleared off of either one of these beautiful ladies today, we would appreciate that. All right. When she is in crowds, she seems to be picking up on a lot of energies, and she can feel sad and anxious after she's in these crowds. Can you tell her a little bit about what she's experiencing?
It's just everybody else's like stress and day to day worry, but you end up picking up on all of it, so it's just kind of a lot for you to deal with. But you could build up like walls and just do a lot of like protection stuff and bring
Mhm.
like certain protection like crystals with you and stuff like that to help.
What are the very best crystals that she can have with her to protect herself?
Um, Black tourmaline and like obsidian.
Beautiful. And she can just wear these in like a bracelet or a necklace. Would those be beneficial, or should she have a actual crystal in her pocket?
Um, I mean, any of that would work, but I would recommend like in like a bag or something like that, like carrying like a little thing of them. And also for like her room, probably putting like stuff in each corner of the room would help.
Oh, nice. So, sort of like gridding her room with
Yes.
crystals. Okay. And so, black crystals are the best for that. Would you also recommend some clear quartz? Would that help, or just the black
Um,
ones?
just the black ones for right now.
Okay, perfect. Any other crystals that would be beneficial for her at the moment?
Um, Rose quartz
Yes, bringing in some love.
and amethyst.
Beautiful.
Except amethyst isn't really like a big word right now because it's worn every day like as a
Mhm.
ring. But
Right.
that's just kind of something that you might want to like toss into like a bag.
Very good. And so, as she goes out and she's around people and she can build up these walls, give her specific steps that she can do that are going to be the best benefit, the most benefit for her.
Just kind of like focusing on herself and like making sure that she's doing okay, not like thinking about everything else going on around her.
Very good. So she can focus on that when she's out in crowds, just like keeping her attention on herself.
Yes.
Okay. And when she's doing shielding work, is it good to focus on like seeing a white light, a bright white light? Can she just ask her guides to place that light around her? Is that going to be enough, or does she need to visualize it as well?
Visualizing is like the best way to do it. So I
Okay.
would recommend that.
Okay. Perfect. So just seeing herself fully encompassed in a bright white light. Will that help?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. What kind of spiritual gifts does she have? I feel like she's got quite a few here, but tell her a little bit about her gifts.
Um, I mean, as she should know, like seeing, hearing stuff. But then another thing is like she can be very like comforting and help people just like if they need to like open up to somebody.
Mhm.
It's just like they're very safe space kind of for most people. Like people know that they can open up to them without being judged.
Beautiful. And what is important for her to know about these amazing gifts and abilities that she has? What does she need to know about why she has them so strongly?
Just kind of the way like she was never really told not to see them, that it's not real.
Mhm.
It's just like very easy for it to be there if you're not told that it's not like there. Because most people
Mhm.
nowadays are told that, like, oh yeah, it's fake. It's like an imaginary friend, stuff like that.
And so, being so young and having these amazing abilities, but they can sometimes be a little overwhelming and a little too much. And sometimes she just wants to have a regular life. How can she? Is there a way that she can turn these on and off, or she can learn how to control them a little bit more so they're not just always in her face?
Um, just kind of working on like tuning it out. Like whenever it's like really obnoxious, just try like not really focusing on it and making and like seeming like you can't hear anything. Just going about like how you normally would if you like weren't hearing anything.
And just sort of ignoring it a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Or like trying to stay like very engaged in like a conversation because that will drown it out significantly.
Okay. And so would something like maybe turning on some music to listen to, would that help if no one's around for her to chat with?
Yes, music does help a lot, but you know, typically she's already listening to music like constantly, so
Okay. Very good. Is there anything that she needs to know or understand today to help make her life a little bit easier?
um just kind of letting life kind of flow as it does. Everything will be put together like correctly eventually. You don't have to fix everything right then and there. It'll just kind of eventually come to you.
Be good. And how about making her life a little bit healthier? Anything she can do for that?
um just kind of making sure that like she's surrounding herself with the right people, and if you're getting like an uneasy feeling about the person, like someone that you're around, try like not talking to them for a little bit and seeing if you are doing better and you're happier without them, because they could just be bringing you down.
Yes. Very good. Very good. And so, what would you say her purpose is in this life? What did she come into this life to do?
To help people, but also to just kind of be like a good person for like certain people to be around if they have like not the best life at home or stuff like that.
Beautiful. Well, let's look at some of these health issues that she's been dealing with and see if it was connected to any of the energies that we've released today or if there's anything else we need to understand about them. And she's been having the headaches and the backaches. What's going on with the head? Was that connected to that energy we released? Or is that something else?
That is something else. It's just kind of like being sensitive to like lights and noises and all that stuff.
Okay.
That kind of brings like headaches there.
And so, is there anything that she can do to assist herself with that?
Um, just being able to have like a dark ish kind of place would
Mm.
help.
Okay.
Like somewhere that's not like too dark because, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of just pure darkness.
Right.
And then also they're just being like still like some noises, but like quieter, kind of like that.
Okay. She just needs to sort of disconnect from things from time,
Yes.
doesn't she? Okay. And what about the backache? What's causing that?
Um, that's just like built up stress kind of sitting there.
Okay. Is that anything that we've released already today? Or is there any
Yes.
additional? Okay, good. So she's not going to experience that backache anymore? Or
It might hurt like a little bit, but it shouldn't be nearly as bad.
tell her what she can do on her own when she is feeling that pain or that stress build up. What's the best way for her to release that from the body? That's okay if you need to cough, baby. You're fine. You're doing great.
Okay.
No, you're okay.
Um,
What's the best way for her to release that stress?
just kind of like laying down on like a solid floor. That typically will help like with the back just like hurting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay. And the brain fog, what's creating that feeling?
Um, that's just kind of like sometimes like remembering stuff is like very foggy. So it's just kind of like having to really focus on like remembering how stuff is will take a minute.
Okay. And so that's nothing to worry about. It's just, will that go away?
It will go away eventually. It just
Okay.
has to get better at like remembering the details of certain places.
I see. Um, she's wondering, she she's sort of blocked out because of the trauma around um, the experiences with her father, but she's having these flashback memories. Why has she been having those?
Um, she's getting better like mentally. So then the stuff is slowly starting to come back. So it's like easier to understand why they feel certain things about different stuff. Because, you know, some stuff that happened will still be affecting them even if they don't remember it.
Okay. So is she going to continue to have those flashbacks?
Yes, but I don't think it should be as frequent.
Okay. And so is that anything for her to worry about, or what does she need to know when those memories do come up? How can she handle that so that it doesn't affect her?
Just trying to like understand like why it happened and like trying to like piece it together to what they already know.
Very good. Very good. And so she had a car accident at the age of 4 where her skull was fractured. How's that area of the body looking? Is that completely healed?
Yes, it's healed.
Okay.
Um,
Wonderful.
the event did affect them like a bit, but it'll get better
Okay.
after a little bit. It just has to still like understand what happened, like what exactly happened.
Mm-hmm. Anything that she needs to know or understand about that experience that you'd like to share with her today?
Um, it's just kind of it was like there just to be like a moment of like making sure that it was like a second to make sure that they could like kind of like grow up a little bit before they had to fully take care of themselves over at their dad's.
Why is it that she experienced that car accident? Was there any?
Um, it could have been it was like a exit kind of point, but it just wasn't meant to be at that point.
Very good. Very good. And so her phobias around darkness and complete silence, is that tied to any past life experiences that she had?
Um,
Or is that anything in this life?
it's from this life.
Okay. Uh, Possibly from a particular experience that she had?
Both of those are from stuff with like their dad, so yeah.
Okay. All right. Any healing that we can do around that, or can you assist her in releasing those energies to make them a little lighter for her?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. We don't want to go too deep into that, but just any healing around that would be very appreciated.
Mhm.
And so, what causes the tics that she has sometimes?
That's just like anxiety and a lot of like built up stress.
Okay. And so, tell her again when those tics start to happen, what's the best thing that she can do to get those to stop?
Just like deep breathing and like trying to calm down like that.
Very good. Deep breathing is great. And that leads into the next one. She finds it hard to breathe sometimes. What's creating that?
Um, I mean, part of that was from the one like brick that was on the torso, but it's also just kind of from kind of like restricting the movement of that area for like long periods of time.
Mhm. So now that we've thrown off those bricks from that lifetime, is she going to continue to have that problem?
Yes, but it won't be nearly as bad.
Okay. And tell her how important it is to practice that deep breathing. Tell her how that will help her.
It'll just make it easier to end up like being able to breathe like better in the future. So it'll just be easier. And
Very
also it's
good.
like a good way to make sure that you're like calm and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Got a little bit of scoliosis in the upper back and neck. What's
Yes.
causing that?
Um, that's just kind of from like hmm, kind of like being like like being like bent over like a phone kind of
hmm
for a while.
So she's putting a lot of strain on that area when
Yes,
she
it would
holds her
be
neck in a certain place.
yeah, it would be better if like she was laying down or had like her back up against something.
Okay. Anything that she can do to exercise or stretch that area, would that be beneficial?
Um, maybe like later down, but not currently.
Okay. We'll just ask the guides when she's ready for that type of exercising or stretching or anything she needs that they'll guide her on what to do. All right. All right. She sometimes has episodes of losing her sight and her hearing. Tell her what's going on there.
It's just kind of like with the ticks, it's just like whenever a lot of stress is like built up, it'll just kind of give you a second to like calm down and just let you relax.
Very good. And is she traveling anywhere? Is she coming out of the body in those experiences at all?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell her a little bit about what happens or where she goes when that happens?
She just kind of goes to like take a bit of a break for a second because like I said before, stuff can get very overwhelming. So it just is like a little break point to calm down and then just come back like a little bit later.
Very good. Very good. So nothing she needs to worry about when that happens.
Nope.
Okay. Very good. Excellent. So a lot of these things that she's been experiencing, and I think we have a good handle on most of them now. The doctors have suggested medicine to help her concentrate. What would you recommend about taking any medicine? Things she needs, or should she avoid that?
I think trying it would be a good idea, but just make sure it's like temporary.
Okay.
Because we can't have it going on forever, just kind of to try to get them back on like the right track.
Okay. And so would that medication be for concentration? Would that be, or to help her with some of the other things that she's dealing with?
There would be like a couple of things, but I think the concentration one is definitely a thing that they should look into because it would help significantly.
Okay.
With like school and stuff like that and trying to get like stuff done.
Okay. And would that help her with all of the energies that she's feeling as well? Because are they overwhelming her and making it hard for her to concentrate? Is that connected at all?
Yes, it is, but it's also just kind of like being able to like drift off and focus on like different things very quickly and like get distracted quickly.
All right. So maybe just as a short-term solution.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Very good. And let's see here. So for anything for the depression that she's experienced over her dad, is there anything she should take for that, or will that energy eventually release for her?
It'll release by itself. It's gonna be fine.
Okay. Hopefully we've released a good bit for her today.
Mm.
All right. Let's see here. Anything else physically that we need to understand about? Anything else she needs to know? Anything that we've missed today?
I mean, they need to get their iron up, but but they know that. So other than that, I think it's fine.
So just an iron supplement, or should she get this through a particular food?
I would recommend just like food because I know like trying to remember to like take stuff is hard for them. So
okay. So
just try eating
look for
stuff with
foods
like,
that are high with iron in it.
Yes.
All right. Very good. And her final question today is about her friend Adam. She has a very strong connection with him and just wonders why he's in her life. What can you tell her?
I mean, he was definitely put there for a reason because he helps significantly. But I think he's gonna be there for a while. Like he's not leaving anytime soon.
Do they have any type of connection, like past life connection, soul family connection?
Soul family.
Okay. They've been together for a while then?
Yes.
Very good. And she's wondering if she's going to get to meet him in person one day.
Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Anything else she needs to know about Adam?
He'll get better like physical health wise. So that currently shouldn't really be the biggest concern.
Does he have some physical health issues going on?
Yes.
All right. And I just want to ask the guides to make sure that Lauren's energy field, her aura, is nice and clear. Asking Michael Raphael to clean off any dense, heavy energies around Lauren's aura, filling in any cracks, tears, rips, fissures, or holes, anywhere that these energies might be able to slip in, and then strengthening that aura, making it nice and bright so that she is very safe and protected. And then asking the guides to add any bands of color around the aura that she needs for the purpose of healing and protection. And so, before I bring her back, are there any final messages that you'd like to share with her today? Anything else that she needs to know in this session?
Just that, like, all of like the mental stuff that they're going through is all temporary. It'll get better.
Very good. And what is the best thing that she can do when that mental stuff gets really heavy? Give her one more piece of advice that she can use.
Just try talking to Adam. He typically knows what to do.
Very good. He may be an old soul in a young body. All right. Very good. So I'm now going to ask the higher self and any beings that we were speaking with today to begin to recede back to your time, space, dimension, and reality with so much love and so much thanks for all of the information that you've shared and all of the healing that you're provided. We're so grateful. We send you so much light and love.